Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today in this video I am going to discuss quality concepts and quality control in construction and in concrete construction. Okay, so these are the contents that I am going to discuss. Introduction, quality control in construction, test for quality control, then quality control in concrete construction, then test for fresh concrete, test for hardened concrete, and what are the different tests for structure and Indian standards. So these are the contents that we are going to discuss in this video. In the introduction, we will see what is concrete and what is quality in concrete. So as we all know, concrete is a widely used construction material which is consisting of cement, fine aggregate, coarse aggregate and water. Other than this, we can add admixtures also in order to modify its properties. Now coming to quality in concrete, we have for the building structures to be durable, more strength, and also for aesthetic, accomplishing a quality concrete is of supreme importance. This is because the vital factor which determines or makes a building look elegant gives a building more strength and durability, the concrete's quality. So here in this point it is for a building to be a more durable or to have a more strength or to look good, these are the different properties of that structure. Okay, if these properties are of good quality, then the structure that we are getting will be also of good quality. If suppose it is a concrete specimen, if that specimen is having good strength and durability, then that specimen is said to be of good quality. Low strength and low durable concrete structures have damaged millions of lives and properties in past decades. So in order to achieve quality in durable building structures, maintaining the quality and standards of concrete is paramount. So in the last decades we have seen there were many demolitions, no, there were many accidents which has been happened in the buildings due to its less durability and because of less strength. The strength which was expected to have for a structure which was not achieved, and the durability that we were expecting for that building was not achieved. So because of those things some accidents had happened, and many people had lost their lives. Now coming to what is quality in construction. First we'll see some general principles which are of construction quality control. First principle says quality control in construction ensures that materials and procedures used for construction comply with intended requirement for a structure. Okay, so here there are two things. First is materials and then we have procedures. When we are talking about a structure, there are many types, there are different types of structures. We have residential buildings, we have school buildings, hospital buildings, function halls, public buildings, right? There are different types of structures we have, and different type of structures demands for different types of materials, and there are different types of procedures which are followed for the process of construction. So when we have for the when we are talking about uh, residential building, okay, if you are talking about residential buildings does not require will not have high live load, which is moving load on a slab. If you are talking about a slab of a residential building, it will not have much of the live load and the moving load will not be more. If we are talking about a public building, or if we are talking about a suppose function hall where many people will roam there over a slab, if it is a first floor, second floor, or whichever it may be, there the thickness of slab requirement in the public hall or in a function hall will be more as compared to this one residential building, right? So that's why slab, not only slab thickness, also the also we have what are the reinforcement details, what should be the spacing between the reinforcement, those all details will matter. So it depends on the type of structure, that which materials are to be used and what are the processes to be followed to achieve the or to meet the requirements of the structure. So at last it is the structure which will decide what are the materials to be used and what are the processes to be followed, or what are the processes to be carried out to achieve or to reach its requirement for its quality. Okay, next we have various Internal agencies have laid guidelines that should be followed in order to ensure that the materials and procedures used will result in safe and durable structure. Okay, so there are many international agencies. Okay, there are many international agencies. Those international agencies has given some guidelines. Okay, so those guidelines should be followed in order to ensure that materials and procedures used will result in safe and durable structure. Okay, so the guidelines which has been given by the international agencies, those guidelines will tell that will ensure that materials and procedures used will result in safe and durable structure. These quality control standards provide the mathematical and statistical procedures for carrying out and evaluating the results. Okay, the guidelines which have been given by some international agencies, okay, so that has to be followed. So when those are followed, those guidelines are for material and processes. Okay, materials for its properties, and then for the processes, that the process which is being used for the construction. Okay, so to check the property of a material, or the quality of a material for its properties, or the processes which have been used, some mathematical and statistical procedures they will give. Using those things we can check the quality of any property of a material or processes which has been followed for the construction. Next we have quality in construction. Okay, so here in quality in construction or quality control, here we can see quality control is interlinked with test methods and specification, where test methods are linked with instructions, right? So to check a quality control, okay, to check the quality control, we should know what are the tests to be used to check the quality of any structure. Okay, here this, to check the quality test method, or the which is test to be carried out to check the quality, we have detailed instructions. Using those instructions we can carry out the test. Suppose for any test to be carried out, we show in detail, like detailed instructions are nothing but we should have at what temperature the test has to be carried out, right? What temperature it is to be carried out, which test is to be carried out, at what time it is to be carried out, and what are the results, right? So those are the instruction. And test method is related to specification. When we do the test, right, so when we do the test, the results will we will get some results. So those results are acceptable or not acceptable will be told by the specification, because we will have some specification, right? If the test is reaching to this readings, or this is the result of the test, then only it will meet the specification and it is reaching to the quality control, right? So this test method is related to specification and it is related to quality control. When the guidelines are being met and the specification are being met by the readings of the test, then we are reaching the quality of concrete. Okay, now coming to the test for quality control, we have quality control test for two things. One is for the property, one is for the process. Property is nothing but for a material, or whichever it may be, that everything will have its own properties. We will do the check for its properties. If properties are reaching to its requirement, then it is of good quality. Next is test for the process. So which is the process which is been used for carrying out the work. So if that process is of good quality, then it is a good one. Then first one, property. Quality control in test to evaluate a property of a material, right? So which is the material, that material should we will do the test for its property. Next process, quality control test is quality control test to evaluate the process of construction. So what is the process of construction is being used for transportation, for mixing, or whichever may be the activity that is being carried out. For that activity, which is the process is used. So for that we will do the test to check its quality. Next we have understanding the test methods. Here there are three questions. The quality engineer, or the person who is there for the quality check, must have the answer to these three questions. First one, what characteristic or property is required to be measured? Okay, for a specimen, that engineer must know what is the property of that specimen to be measured. Okay, what is the specimen, what is the property of the specimen to be measured to its for its quality. Second question is, how would the desired characteristics or property be measured? Second question is, how it has to be measured. First one, which is the property to be measured. Second one, how it is to be measured. Second one, what are the factors during the measurement that can affect the reading. Okay, so while doing the test, what are the factors that affects the readings, the readings after the test that we are getting, what are the factors that affects the readings. Okay, so first one, what characteristic or what is the property to be measured. Second one, how it has to be measured for the desired characteristic. And third one, what are the factors during the measurement that affects the reading. Okay, so these are the things that the engineer must know he is doing the test. Now coming to the quality control in construction. Okay, quality control in construction, it should be it should meet the specification, which is in turn means that there should be clear specification and appropriate test methods for evaluation. Okay, so to test the quality control in construction, one must see that the specimen or the construction should meet its specification. Okay, and in turn the specification which are given for the quality check, those specification should be clear. Okay, those specification should be clear. So when the specifications are clear, then the person who is doing the measurement or who is checking the quality, it will make him easy, or it will make him proper for doing the quality check. Specification must take into account parameters such as importance of a structure, nature of construction, and structure, etc. So the when we are making the guidelines, or when we are making the specifications for the quality check, the person who is doing this should know the importance of a structure, nature of construction, and the structure. Nature of construction and structure. So these things keeping in mind, we have to make the specification for that particular structure. Next, specification needs to address challenges on account of use of new material, mechanization of construction, and changing in professional environment. We will see these three things in our coming slides. First one, as I told, when new material are being added, one should be much conscious that it is added in right quantity. Small variation may lead to change in desired outcome. Okay, when we are using any new material in the construction, the basic materials are cement, fine aggregate, coarse aggregate, and water. Okay, using these four ingredients we can make concrete, there is no doubt in this. So when we are adding some other materials other than these four ingredients, some new material if we are adding, so when we are doing that thing, we should be conscious that at how much quantity it is to be added according to the mix design, that has to be followed properly. So when that is been not done properly, it will lead to some undesirable outcomes. So what is the outcome that we are expecting will not be achieved. So we should be very conscious that at how much quantity we have to add, and what is the procedure to add, and what are the precautions to be taken. Help of mechanization in construction, the construction can be done at a large scale with the help of with high speed for challenging projects. Okay, so if we are using mechanization in construction are nothing but if we are using large machines or any machinery, if we are using in the construction, using those machinery we can speed up the work of construction. If suppose we are using the cranes for lifting of the materials, then the work can be carried out in a faster way by using mechanization or other or any machine in the construction. Quality of construction is affected by the quality of work at each step. Okay, so the quality of construction depends on the quality of work at each step. It doesn't mean that if simply we are standing in front of a structure and it is looking good, and we cannot say it is of good quality. So during the construction, when we are doing the construction, in each and every step we have to see for the quality. When the quality is maintained during its construction, then the quality at last achieved will be of uh, our desirable. Okay, so that thing we have to keep in mind. Next we have quality at each step should be seriously considered and planned for at each step. So when we are doing this quality check, at each step the quality is to be planned. So whatever maybe the process is going on, during that process we have to plan for quality check. Okay. Next, quality not only should be maintained but appear to be maintained. So when we are maintaining the quality in our construction site, okay, so we should not only maintain the quality, we should record it, we should keep the proper documentation of it. When we are keeping the proper documentation for our maintaining quality, so at last if there's some problem happens, suppose if some problem happens, we can we are using those documentation we can see where was the problem. If the proper documentation is been maintained, we will see that there was not a problem when the quality has met to its proper guidelines or to its specification. If it is meeting, there was no problem, so there might be problem in some other place. Okay, that can be that can help. Quality of construction drawings, clarity of all details. When we are talking about the clarity of the drawings, which is being given to a site engineer for carrying out the work at the site, so those drawings should have a good quality. Quality of drawing is nothing but the details which are being mentioned in the drawings should be proper, and it should be easily understandable, and all details has to be mentioned, whether it is a cover to the reinforcement, what are the reinforcement details, which is the diameter of bar, what are, and what is the spacing between the bars for the beam, for the columns, whichever it may be, those details has to be given properly. When it is given properly in the drawing, then it is said then the drawing is said to be of good quality. Precautions during the measurement and during construction. So while doing the construction, precautions should be taken, all the required precautions should be taken. Next we have quality control in concrete construction. Okay, here it will be specially for the concrete constructions. Concrete used materials, proportioning, batching, mixing, transportation. Okay, then we have in the formwork, workmanship, placing, compaction and curing, post processing. Okay. So here in concrete used we have wave batching versus volume wave batching. I will not go in much detail of this, but we all know that what is the difference between wave batching and volume batching. So wave batching is by taking the materials or ingredients of concrete by weighing them in the weight in the kgs. Volume batching is nothing but taking it in the volume one by volume wise. Next, wash aggregates to be free from dust, oil, dirt, etc. So when we are using the aggregates, if we are making a quality of a very high, if we are making a concrete of a very high quality, so all the ingredients and materials also should be of very good quality. So when we are using aggregates, if it is to be of a very high grade of quality, then it should be free from oil, dust and the dirt. If it is having any one of these, then the aggregate has to be washed. Then priming construction equipments, so the mechanization or the construction equipment that we are using should be primed, or it should be clear and clean. Next, special situations for mixing manually, use of nominal mixes. So when we are doing a small construction or a normal construction, the mixes that we are taking for making a concrete, it should be taken a proper this one proportions. We will go for a nominal mix only when we are going to do a normal construction. It will be a M5, M10, M15 or M20. So for that standard proportions are there of the ingredients, so that has to be taken in its proper proportion. Next we have temperature range for normal construction. In the normal construction, there is a range of temperature minimum to maximum. Within that range, if we are mixing a concrete, it will not be a problem. If we are doing the making a concrete for which the range of or for which the temperature is lower than the prescribed or the set, then your concrete will not get set soon. Your initial setting time of the concrete will get increased. And in very high temperature, if you mix a concrete, okay, in high temperature, your concrete will get set very soon. Okay, next we have quantifying quality of concrete construction. When we are quantifying the quality of concrete construction, we have to do the test. So here the tests are for the fresh concrete, for the properties of fresh concrete, for the properties of hardened concrete, and for the properties of structure which has been casted or which has been made. Okay, these are the tests for fresh concrete. We have some basic test and we have some other test. In the basic test we have slump test, air content, temperature and setting time. These are the four basic tests that should be carried out for a fresh concrete. Then we have for we have some other tests also, that those are slump flow, passability, flowability, self compaction and temperature rise. These are the tests which is to be carried out for a fresh concrete to check its quality. An important task is to identify the test to be carried out and related issues such as frequency and acceptance. So we have seen the three questions before in the previous slides. In the first was to know which is the test to be used and what is the property to be measured, right? So we cannot do all the tests for checking one particular type of quality. So we should know what is the quality to be measured and which is the test to be carried out. So if we cannot carry out all the tests for checking any one particular type of quality of concrete, right? If you do so, because you see the quality is directly proportional to the cost. As the quality has to be increased, the cost of the cost also increase. So to check the quality, we are carrying out some test also. So which is the test required only has to be carried out. Next we have test for hardened concrete. Here also we have some basic test and some other test. We have for in the basic test strength test, modulus of flexure, modulus of elasticity. Then we have porosity, permeability and toughness. So these are the test for hardened concrete. Then we have test for structure also, like no cracks and honeycombing, etc. So when the structure is ready, we have to check for its crack, is if there is any cracks visible on the screen, on the structure, or if there are any honeycombing which has been formed. Honeycombing, if there are aggregates visible outside, from the outside, with cement paste in the surrounding, in the hardened state, which looks more like to a honeycomb, right? So that's why it is called honeycombing structures. So it is very disastrous honeycombing. Next we have verticality. Verticality is nothing but for a structure. Suppose we have casted a column, we have to check for its verticality, whether the column is straight or not. Okay, so that mainly depends on the formwork. If the formwork is done properly, then the column also will be straight. Then plainness and roughness, and for water tightness. These are the tests for structure. We have Indian standards. First one is internal consistency, not more than a certain deviation in the three individual. So certain deviation in three individuals readings. In case that happens, discard the sample. If suppose we are getting a reading for the specimens like 11, 12 and 25, will not be accepted. If it is 11, 12, 13, accepted. 11, 12, 12, accepted. 11, 11, 12 is also accepted. But if you are getting like 11, 12 and 25, this 25 will not be accepted. Okay, then acceptance. Check for valid sample. Examine two criteria: individual average and average of group of 4. So we have to check only for valid samples. This is not a valid, the 25 that we are getting will not be valid, this has to be discarded. So we have to check for only valid samples, right? So then 11, 12, 13 is there, means it can be done, or if it is 11, 11, 12, 11, 12, 12 is there, that also can be accepted. Then it has to be examined for two criteria. One is for individual average for that particular specimen, then for the average of group of 4 specimens. Okay, then we have at last, in the event of non-acceptance, okay, NDT, load test, etc. may be carried out before dismantling. Okay, so before dismantling the formwork, the test has to be carried out. If we do that after removing, the load test is been carried out for a structure, then there are chances that if it fails, it will be a loss. So before dismantling itself, the test has to be carried out. Okay, so these are the Indian standards.